This episode of Let's Knit Together is sponsored by Yarnmarket.com. Fabulous fashions, fast and friendly.
We don't really know that much about you, Stacy Charles. How did you get involved in the yarn industry, and how young were you when you first picked up a ball of yarn?
Oh, well, I'm not sure I'm going to reveal my age, but it's been a long 29, 30 years, I would guess. I got started by helping my aunt and uncle, who started an import yarn company, and they had no children, and so they came to one of their favorite nephews, and they needed a lot of help, and I started out working in the warehouse, helping pick colors and helping merchandise the brand at that time. And I worked for my aunt and uncle for about 4 years and then started on my own because they sold their company, and I didn't go with the sale. So I started on my own, but it's great. It's been, as I said, close to 30 years.
Wow, and you loved yarn so much you didn't want to let it go?
I actually loved yarn so much. I'm still very passionate about what I do. Mostly I'm a product person, but I'm also a fashion person. And so the combination of being able to create the yarns and how I do that, how I color them, and then take it from the product itself into fashion is what really makes my day.
So Stacy Charles, the company started first, is that right? After you launched on your own?
Yes. You know, I was with some friends who I had known, and I was looking for a name of a company, and it was going to be really boring, like American International Yarns or something like that. And they said, why shouldn't it be your own name? And before merging with Takhi, which we'll get to in a minute, it was called Stacy Charles Collection. And I said, I don't think I want my name on that label, but that's how it ended up, and here we are.
Well, it's certainly memorable when you think of Stacy Charles.
Well, frankly, not many people know there's a person, Stacy Charles. They think it's just the name of a company, but there is a person, me.
So how did you end up with Tahki Stacy Charles?
Well, that's an interesting story. After having been in the business for about 20 years or so, a friendly competitor of mine, Diane Friedman, my business partner, who owned Tahki Yarns, called me and said, my business partner then was looking to retire, and she just wanted to tell me that, and I said, well, you know, Diane, let me think about that. And Tahki Stacy Charles was a newly merged company in 2000, and Diane Friedman, my business partner, and I have really worked well together, and Tahki Stacy Charles is our baby.
Well, I think the merging of the two sort of transformed the yarns in each of those collections as well.
Absolutely.
How do you think that's occurred over the years?
Well, you know, Diane and I are product people. We're both Aries, and we both have strong personalities, but very complementary as well, and we just see eye to eye on product. And so developing out Tahki as its brand and its image just became like how we're going to get to the next level. The same with S.Charles or Filatura di Crosa brands, or even Teva when we work with Teva. We just believe in product so much that it helps formulate the season.
When you're conceiving of a new yarn, what are the things that inspire you to come up with the ideas of fiber, color, texture,
Well,
things like that?
I'd love to say fashion inspires me, which it does, but really just fiber and putting color and texture together. I'm a great person to see something and visualize it and then try to achieve it in product.
Do you have any examples of a product that you took from start to finish?
Oh, sure. Let's walk over to S.Charles and I can tell you more specifically that's coming to mind. Natasha, for example, which is one of our newest novelty yarns this season. You know, fur. I mean, as much as we believe in fashion, we hate killing animals, of course. So we wanted to design a yarn that really emulated the runway's fashion real fur, but we wouldn't do it.
Right.
So we did it in a alpaca and wool with these tufts, and it's really our vision of fun fur. And maybe also that vest over there is a great example in the black vest of a real fashion image translated into a hand knitting yarn.
Wow.
And we've taken it and made it really an interpretation of ready-to-wear fashion in yarn.
Are you also part of the design team? Or
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
then once you've got the yarn, are you able to then conceive of the design, or do you think the design sort of helps you define
I
the
think
yarn?
it's a synergy. Sometimes it's the yarn that creates the fashion, and other times it's a silhouette that we're inspired by. We'll just plug the yarn in. And our creative director, Dinah Klein, actually runs our design process, but I get to either veto or be part of or tell them what I'm looking for as well.
Cool. And this new exciting yarn seems perfect for sort of the transition from fall toward winter.
Absolutely. You can see it here in a layering piece as a vest, but we can also see it as a coat, or we can see it as a capelet or cowl over a great denim jean jacket.
Right.
And, or it can be a little bit longer and work up into a hood. It's very versatile.
One of my favorites, actually, the first one of your yarns I've been knitting on a project for a really long time, was with Ritratto.
Oh my gosh. Ritratto is actually another one that I conceived of and have had all these years. Actually, believe it or not, it was a takeoff of really going back into my history, when we licensed Missoni's name, the fashion knitwear company Missoni, and when I was a real youngster, about 20 some odd years ago, working with the Missoni team, Ritratto became an inspiration from them, but a takeoff on a product, and it is 3 components actually. It's a how about in the ball? I can describe it even better than in a garment. But these garments are all Ritratto. This one, this great 3-ball project. It's 1 ball each of 3 colors in this little swing.
Oh, goodness.
This is a 2-ball project tonally. We have a great 4-ball, wonderful rectangle, two rectangles as a vest, a 4-ball project. But the actual product itself is comprised of 3 component yarns. There's a small, very fine lame metallic that's twisted around a printed rayon fiber yarn, and a baby kid mohair. And the mohair, sometimes we either print to obtain certain color effects, or we'll do a tonal solid to create more tone-on-tone effects.
Right.
So you can get printed effects or tonal effects.
The thing I loved about Ritratto was how attractive even a simple project can look. It's just really
Isn't this amazing?
simple stitches, and yet the
yarn tells it
shimmer
all.
and the fuzz just give it a great look.
Exactly, and your Ritratto has so much yardage. I think there's like 180 yards or so per ball. So a 2-ball project is not a real expensive project, and it's just incredibly versatile yarn.
Well, I started a shawl in a leaf lace pattern with actually it's similar to this, but a little more gold. And I'm still working on it.
Was it one of our patterns, I hope?
No, it was my own design.
Oh, your own design, even better. We really are encouraging to people for figuring it out. And, Kat, I didn't realize you had such skills.
Yes, I have other things.
I'm sure.
What do you think is next, though, for Tahki Stacy Charles?
Well, let me tell you, every season is a challenge because it's really reinventing yourself every single season. And not only do we have to do it one time with S.Charles line, or a second time with our Tahki brand, or with Filatura, we also are inspired with Teva. So every season we're constantly reinventing, bringing out new product. Maybe every season we do between 100 and 150 designs per season.
Nice.
So that's really the next thing, is just figuring it all out from one season to the next.
I've just completed my first sock for this month's Sock Knit Along. At our next live show, Saturday, January 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern, join us to share your progress on the Knit Along. Go to letsknittogether.com/live for complete details on how to participate. At Rhinebeck last year, I bought 2 beautiful Romney fleeces, one silver and another in black. I sent them off to Zeilinger's to be processed, and just before Christmas, this box arrived with my processed roving. They both came back just beautiful. The silver roving ended up with a shorter staple length than I expected, probably because the second cuts were mixed in. I still think it will spin up nicely. The black roving ended up with a rich black color tone. It looks like the brown tips were so short that they blended in and disappeared. It's rare to get a full natural black like this, so I love the way it came out. I did a quick test with both rovings on a spindle to see how they would spin up. The silver one is a bit hairier than the black. It also has more color variations than I expected. It looks like a mixture of light and dark gray after it's spun. The black spins up smooth, shiny, and silky. Very nice. It might be perfect for a textured project. I also did a spin and ply test on my spinner with the black, and I think whatever I make with it is soft enough to wear next to the skin. I have no idea what I'll make with them yet, but I'm going to just play around for a while and experiment. Since there's several pounds of each, I have plenty to work with. Yarnmarket.com now carries Bergere de France patterns and yarns. They're so luscious and luxurious. Just imagine this beautiful cocoon shawl collar jacket, perhaps in this incredible cocoon Indien yarn. The name of the yarn itself inspires thoughts of being wrapped up in coziness. Or perhaps this très chic Trapeze jacket in Magic Abyss yarn. This would look hot over a pair of black trousers. You would definitely turn heads in this jacket. So go to yarnmarket.com for Bergere de France and other yarns and patterns. Yarnmarket.com has been a wonderful sponsor for more than a year now, and we'd like to demonstrate to them that their sponsorship is working. Please help us out by answering a few questions on what you are looking for in an online yarn store. This URL will take you to the survey. There's also a link in the show notes. Those who respond by January 31st, 2011 will get a chance to win a $25 gift certificate at yarnmarket.com. Just before Christmas, this box arrived with my processed roving. Something wrong. I just got spitty. I messed up my last line there.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Good. Do it one more time.
Probably should have done this with the box empty.
No, I wanted to seem like, it's got stuff in it.
Oh, okay. It must be a strain for you to keep
Well,
lifting.
it is, but if it was an empty box, it'd be like, that's an empty box. So you know.